Now, Sports Talk with Brodes. Here's Hunter Brody.
Unbelievable out of the captain! Unbelievable! Strip the C! That's what the people say out there. Strip the C. He came up so big. What a character victory out of this squad. I was ready to punch myself in the face when I watched them play for the first 3-4 minutes of the game. I watched the Penguins score 3 goals. 3 goals in a minute and 11 seconds. There's no excuse for that. There's no way that you should come out against your rivals that putrid. You just lost 2 nights before in such an egregious way. You got embarrassed, and somehow, within a drop of the puck, and in 4 minutes, you're down 3 goals? That really is annoying. The way, though, right from that period, right from that moment, it was all Flyers. They controlled the pace. They executed down below the goal line. They were cycling the puck beautifully, may I add. They had consistent offensive zone pressure, and the key word here is patience. They were cool. They were calm. They knew that if they stayed with the game plan, that it would eventually work. They believed in it. And it all starts with the head coach, AV, who made a great decision on calling a timeout, although that's kind of an obvious one, right? I don't think that there's many coaches in this league that's just going to allow for that to keep happening, and he's going to watch the team suffer without taking some sort of breath. At least try. You know, you use the timeout, it's an attempt. It's an attempt to slow things down for your team. So it's not really the use of the timeout, but it was the message being displayed at the timeout. Because I know me, I'd be red-faced, spit would be flying everywhere, I'd be mother effing the hell out of them and freaking out. If you could imagine John Tortorella, that would be the way that I would be walking up and down the bench throughout a game, if I was in the suit behind the fellas. But he took this laid-back approach. And if you look at his mouth and you try and read his body language, it's almost as if he was pointing up at the Jumbotron saying, we got a lot of time left. So, hey, that was bad. That was awful. A lot of time left. Let's get back to our game. Let's get back to our identity. Let's fight back and crawl back into this thing. Let's go, boys. Something like that. Which, I got to give him credit. That would not have been my philosophy, but I love the fact that the team really did respond, and that message was very clear. The captain was such a big part of this, and I thought something that AV said after the game that was really interesting, although, once again, kind of makes sense. I'm not here trying to rip the coach today, by the way. He should get a lot of praise, so I don't know why this keeps happening. But when Joel Farabee was on the COVID list this morning, you had to make an adjustment. You had to change things out on the fly. Well, there goes that lineup. What can we do now? What pieces fit where? Let's try and attack this puzzle. Oh, we'll put Claude Giroux back at center. He hasn't played center. He's been a winger. And we all thought to this point maybe wing would be best for him considering where he's at in his career. And it helps out a bit offensively, let's say. Maybe they're just looking at it from that perspective, and we are too. Let's move him to wing. A lot less responsibility. You don't have to worry about the 200-foot game as much. You slide him right back into that area of the ice, though, and he was making plays. Him, Oscar Lindblom, and aube-kubel. What a lineup. The lineup we all thought would dominate today when we heard the news. They were great. And that was the line specifically that stood out to me so much when it came to that offensive zone time, when it came to winning battles along the boards, which then allowed you to cycle the puck and generate great scoring chances. So sadly, we will start with the first 4 minutes of the game where they got obliterated, and it was such a horrible watch. Letang throws a weak shot on net. Did it hit something? Maybe, but it finds its way through Moose, Brian Elliott. Crosby takes a shot as he's coming down the left side of the ice with like a one-legged knee. Quick snapshot beautifully, of course, because it's Sidney Crosby and he's amazing and I love everything that he does and I'm the biggest Sidney Crosby fan in the world, even though he's a Pittsburgh Penguin. And here's Mark Friedman who comes in and buries a rebound. Of course Friedman scores. I can't stand him. The pest that he is. I can't stand him. Now, unfortunately, he tried to throw a hit on Nolan Patrick, and it looked like he was out of it. It looked like he was woozy, and as much as someone's a hate to face for me, I never want to see anyone go down like that, so I do wish him the best. But it does seem kind of odd over the last 2 games, and I'm sure it's him just being a competitor and wanting to make a statement towards the Flyers organization, pretty much flip them the double bird. There has been this back and forth intense physicality with Mark Friedman of the last couple of games. But yeah, what happened with him in the hit? Just a hockey play. Nolan Patrick braces for the hit. He braces himself as he knows the hit is coming, and it looks like Friedman's head snapped back. So hopefully he's okay. But he scored the second goal. And McCann backdoor for the third. What a beauty. This is when Sean Couturier slamming his stick, and AV elects to call the timeout. But that backdoor pass, he's utilizing his stick as he's sliding on the ice. The stick breaks. Crazy. Just crazy play. But you saw so many odd man rushes in such a small period of time. How are you not prepared that early into a game? You know the team is going to jump on you. You know you're on the road in a building that has fans against a team that hates your guts. How are you not mentally clocked in from puck drop? You're not anticipating a fast start. They're getting Sidney Crosby back. And that old COVID-19 list is a crazy story too. He's already off of it? What happened there? I don't know. I didn't dive into too many details. I'm just more disgusted that you have a team going up against their rivals and they're coming out that flat. Imagine what would have happened if they just played below average hockey in the first 4 minutes. Maybe it was only 1-0. They played the worst hockey my eyes have ever seen. So it was a lot worse than just bad hockey. Imagine if it was just bad hockey. The domination would have looked even better. But they really did dominate. And the fact that they won it in regulation is so crucial. Because you only play your division, when you come out on top in regulation, it matters way more. Especially against a team like Pittsburgh, where you guys are trying to throw punches at one another, trying to throw jabs, and get yourself comfortable in a position in the playoffs, in the postseason. Moose settled in. Moose definitely settled in. And now the hot discussion is, hey, who should play? And you saw the graphics between the two throughout the broadcast, Carter Hart's numbers, and it does seem like Carter Hart's numbers make it look worse than what it really is, but his numbers are not great. And with Brian Elliott, his numbers are solid, older veteran. I think where Carter Hart is at in his career, it's not, hey, goalie controversy. Everybody knows the scenario for the organization when you look at this from a broader standpoint. Carter Hart is the goalie. But I do feel right now, and I don't think Alain Vigneault would be hesitant about this. It's a shortened season. Go grab your points. Play the best player. Carter Hart knows how good he is. The team knows how good he is. The coach knows how good he is. But right now, Brian Elliott's hot. Moose is playing fantastic. Saturday afternoon, though, that's their next game, and that's a lot different than a Saturday night game for an older veteran who has a lot of miles on his tires. So maybe they do go back to Carter Hart, but I'm just talking about as we continue to play these games and as you continue to search for 2 points every night that you're on the ice, you might have to lean more on the veteran right now. And that's not to say that Carter Hart is some stiff, but right now, Moose is where he's at. You got to remember, Moose is a good goaltender. Look through his entire career. There's a reason why he has had the success that he has had. He's a hell of a guy in between the pipes. So it's not a knock on someone else to say Brian Elliott's playing at a great pace right now because, quite frankly, he is. My voice is going all over the place right now. I think it's because last night you had Joel Embiid do what he did against the Utah Jazz right before break, and now you got Claude Giroux being a stud, being the captain. So my voice is all over. So where did the game start turning around? Well, it has to be that power play goal. Well, it's the timeout, but in terms of getting on the board, it's that first goal by Sean Couturier. What did they do? They executed on the power play. Wait, you're telling me that we witnessed the Flyers, the team in the orange and the black, they were moving the puck around when they had 5 guys and the opponent had 4 guys and it made sense and they knew what they were doing? They knew how to actually execute a play? Wow, I haven't seen that all season. Sorry. It's not my fault that I'm this shocked. But that's what happens when you are used to watching your team try and get it into the offensive zone, try and gain the blue line. Oh, it's a turnover. Oh, they have to dump it. When they dump it, the Penguins get there first and send it the other way, and you got to regroup. Then you try and gain the zone again. You dump it back to someone who's trying to enter the zone with a bunch of speed. It gets stopped. Like, that's what I'm accustomed to seeing all the time. So to see Sean Couturier blast one past Jarry with an outstanding pick of the twine, that was definitely nice, and it was somewhat of a tone setter. All right, fellas, we got one. Plenty to go, but we got one. We got the one we needed. We needed the first one. Now that's behind us. Let's go get the second. And, of course, this all starts with the second goal happened with Lindblom in front of the net. So this aube-kubel, Lindblom line with Claude Giroux, just so fantastic. And they generate a great scoring chance, and it is fortunate for the Flyers. The Penguins had a bit of a miscue. Lindblom's wide open in front of Jarry, makes a move, tries to get it past him. And Claude Giroux, from behind the net, he was behind the goal line. He sneaks back door and the puck just finds his way. And now you're one goal away. Now you're right there. And that play just reminded me, because of how close Oscar Lindblom was. Travis Konechny in that first period, he had a couple chances as well. He wrung it off the pipe a few times. And it sucks that we haven't seen the Travis Konechny that we wanted to see to this point. And here he is cranking the iron left and right. And sometimes it's just a tough one. Sometimes players, great players, good players, they get through these stretches where they're putting the puck on net at good times. They're shooting when they're supposed to. They're passing when they're supposed to. And the puck is just not finding the nets. It's not their time. And right now, Travis Konechny is stuck. And what I would do in that case is, if I normally used white tape, I'd go black tape. If I normally didn't tape my toe, I'd tape my toe. Now, I ended up going, I'm always black tape at the bottom, taping my toe. But I'm just saying, if I'm a goal scorer and things aren't flying in the direction that I like to, that's when I'm maybe changing the way I tape my staff. The top of the staff of my stick. Shaft. Jesus. Maybe you go candy cane. Maybe you go long. Maybe you go medium. Or you just go at the top of the shaft where you go a couple of layers around the top. I went long, for sure. Not that my swag on the ice means anything to anybody. Travis Konechny, though, had some chances. We get to the third goal to tie it up. Not Claude Giroux's goal. I was excited at the time, thinking it was. Hit off Walton as he was skating in front of the blue paint. Maybe not the strongest plays out of the netminder Jarry, by the way, either. Whether it's letting the puck go in the favor of the Flyers when he's trying to make a play with the puck on his stick. Oh, here you go, Flyers. Why don't you take this? Well, the poor decision-making definitely backfired and helped the Flyers take this lead back. That's when they tied it. And then what JVR did for that fourth goal, not a sexy topic, not something that stands out, but he forced Jarry to have to cover the puck, which allowed the Flyers to have an offensive zone draw. Bang, you're in the zone, you're working in the corners, you're winning your battles, you're getting to loose pucks. Aube-kubel with a fantastic pass to Claude Giroux, wide open back door. I felt like I've said Claude Giroux 6,000 times this episode, and quite frankly, I love it, because there's not many moments where I get to say it this many times. G has some strong games, and G has some awesome times out there. Great vision, has a lot of assists. Hasn't been putting the puck in the net as of late, but he definitely has been finding his teammates and helping out offensively in other ways. And he played a big role when Sean Couturier was out, and he was a big-time two-way guy helping out in the defensive zone. So he has been a factor in games. But to this point, where I'm screaming 3 points for the C, yeah, it makes it a lot more entertaining to talk about it because I love Claude Giroux. When I see his facial expression afterwards, when he's letting the boys go back into the locker room, giving his fist pumps, that just screams leader. Just screams veteran guy. Been around the block, been through these moments before. Knows what this means for the room. And that's where the biggest thing is for me. The boys in the room. There's a handful of wins every year that mean more. They do. They matter more because of, well, the adversity your team hit and you came together. You rallied together as a squad and said, this isn't over. We're going to battle back. We really are. We're going to inch our way back into things. Keep working on this game plan. Keep throwing shots on net. Keep getting the loose pucks. Keep getting a little bit physical in the corners. Win your battles. Stay out of the box. That ticky-tack call on Kevin Hayes, that was a joke. How do you call that in the corner when you're where? Come on, what are you doing over there? Stripes? That was brutal. At that point in the game, you're going to give a man advantage to Pittsburgh? Sloppy. If I'm the league, I'm looking at that one pissed. 2 ticky-tack for me. But they committed. So I brought up how important this is because there's, let's say, 82 games. And I know this is a 56-game season. Fine, we'll use 56. Let's say 7 wins in those 56. There was something to it. It felt different. It felt better. It molded the team together. Now, for the 7 that feel great, there's probably going to be 4, 5, 6 that hurt, that are painful, that are miserable, that eat you alive. So there are other ones that crush your team morally. But take advantage of this. And if they come out hot on Saturday and beat up on Pittsburgh and take 2 out of 3, we feel a lot different about this series. 4 minutes ruined a lot about how we would have felt too. Because now we question, well, why did they start out this slow? How come they went with this approach? How come they weren't ready to compete? Instead of, whoo, did they bounce back? Whoo! What if they just won? What if the 4 minutes never happened? And they went out there, and I know like those goals happened because they were down. So the storyline, if they went out there and won 3-0, I'm talking about the Flyers, not the Penguins. If the Flyers went out there and won 3-0, 4-0, would it hold the same power? And I guess that's a fair question. I don't think we would feel as energized. So maybe those 4 minutes that happened early was a good thing for this team. Instead of asking questions why, even though we still do, maybe it's not as intensified because we are so proud in the way that they stayed strong. Yeah, it's interesting. I guess it just depends on your perspective and the way that you look at things. Here's the thing. The way that I look at DeSimone Jewelers is they are the best, they are fantastic, and they are special. Every time I go to DeSimone Jewelers in Haddonfield, New Jersey, it is the best experience in the world. I got my fiance's engagement ring there, and she couldn't believe it. We bought this house, and on the day of settlement, I'm in the backyard. I'm on one knee as she takes the blindfold off, and she was stunned. The face, the jaw dropped all the way down to the ground. That's because of, not me. I tell you that for free. It's not because of me. She didn't care about me. It was about the bling. They are the best in the business. Family-owned business with 40 plus years of experience. They moved from Jewelers Row to Haddonfield, New Jersey. They don't use sale tactics. They just show you options and educate the customers, and they treat their customers like family. DeSimone Jewelers customizes and manufactures every ring they make from start to finish on location. And because of that, they're able to beat competitors' prices. I've sent a ton of family members and friends in their direction, and I constantly get the same response back. They are amazing. They are outstanding. You'll know exactly what I mean when you go in there and tell them, hey, Brodes sent me. All their information is down below in the description. DeSimone Jewelers. I demand it. Get over there. Haddonfield, New Jersey. All right. Woo! I'm juiced up. Those type of wins, it makes this fun too. Don't get me wrong. There's enjoyment in a dominating win. Maybe one that isn't as fun and as entertaining, but it was, hey, the team handled business. The team went out there and they destroyed the opponent. Sometimes, believe it or not, there's fun in the rage side of things. Let it pour out. This is what I need. This is where I get out the emotion of a bad loss. So it's fun. It makes me express my feelings and allows me to get it out of me. And then there's this, the exciting ones, where you just let it fly. You let that natural feeling fly. And the way that I watched Claude Giroux compete out there and prove to this team, hey, we can do this. Follow my lead. Just gives me that fantastic feeling. You did it without Myers, too. Myers leaving the game. Now you're down to 5 defensemen. And as for much as I give this defense crap, which we should, it is fair to do so, and it makes a lot of sense to do so. With 5D, It's not so easy to double shift, to go out here there, to go out here, right? 5Ds suck. You want to go with 6, you stay with your partner. There might be some change-ups here and there, but you stay with your guy and you have this comfortable feeling out there on the ice. You know where he's going to be. You start playing with 5, now you're switching D partners. But I thought Ivan Provorov was stellar as that number 1 guy. They playing with 5 guys, they were able to hold their own. I'll just go as far as that. You know how I feel about this team long-term on the defensive side of things, and we all feel the same way as we should. I'll tip my cap. But all right, let's get to the Anytime Hotline. I want to hear what everyone out there is thinking.
Strip the sea! What? What is everyone talking about? Stripping the sea. I understand the Flyers started out terrible. Like, I don't understand how you could come out against one of your biggest rivals and in the first 3 minutes, you're down 3-0. I thought that was unbelievable. AV takes the timeout, and the boys start buzzing and get back. Unbelievable game. Almost 2 goals, but he got the 1 at the end to close it out. The boys, we're not going to let the defense get away with this one, though. That's brutal. Terrible start to the game.
You know, it's kind of funny with the whole strip the sea thing. I mock people who do it because it's embarrassing that you feel the problem with this franchise since 2013 when he took over the captaincy was, hey, Claude Giroux, he's just the worst. You don't understand the game at all. Claude Giroux, if he would have blew or been a captain of a team that blew a 3-0 lead, what do you think the results would have been by the people who can't stand him and think it's time to trade him, although they don't study how contracts work because that's not just going to happen with the snap of the fingers. There's a no-trade clause. He would get destroyed and abused. Sidney Crosby just did it. What does that mean about him? Do you question him as a leader? Do you think that he sucks? Do you think that he's a fraud? Well, Brodes, he won a Stanley Cup. Yes, he did. And Sidney Crosby is a better hockey player than Claude Giroux. But that's almost defending me a little bit. Just because you blow a lead, while that does say things about the team, and then you question leadership, then you question head coach, and sure, I get it. I understand how this works. But if Sidney Crosby is one of the best to ever do it and just experienced a 3-0 deficit, they were down 3-0, or they lost it. They allowed the Flyers to come back and win, is my point. What does that say about him? Well, is your argument that the team stinks, the Penguins stinks? Well, then what does that say about Claude Giroux and his franchise since his tenure here as captain? It's pretty damn obvious. The problems with this franchise went all the way up top. It wasn't Claude Giroux's voice in the room. It really is ridiculous that people don't understand what a captain means. It's all these people that haven't even been inside of a hockey locker room before, and they never experienced what a leader really needs to do. It's about the little things. It's about the work ethic. It's about the voice. Trust me. All right, trust me. Claude Giroux's voice is insanely respected by everybody who matters. You might not respect it, but guess what? You don't matter. The guys in the locker room do. And that's the most important thing.
Fuck yeah, baby. Let's go. Who wants to say strip the sea now? Whoever fucking says that again is fucking stupid. You know why? Because we went into this game and what did we see? Shit defense again. And you know what I think? I think this team is still legit. We can still fucking do this. We just proved we can play in the game 100% tonight. And you know what I think? Fuck the fucking Pens. I fucking hate these motherfuckers so goddamn much.
Wow. All right. I love it, though. Give me that energy. Give me that feel. I'm here for it. Express yourself. That's why the Anytime Hotline is there. Be like that guy. 856-442-9805. That's why we have this Anytime Hotline. I want to push back, though, when you say that this game means they can hang with anyone. I would say that that's true if this was Boston, if this was Washington, a healthy Washington Capitals team. This Penguins team is on the downfall. They are on the downside. They aren't the strongest version of themselves. Now, I don't want that to take away from how awesome I think that this game really was and the impact that it can have on the confidence, on the swagger of this team. But there is something to be said about this Penguins team no longer being the top-tier elite Penguins team that we have seen. So a little bit of this is the product of the Penguins, right? I mean, it showed you that the Penguins just got abused and got beat pretty good by the Flyers right after the 4-minute mark. Well, that's because they have their own issues, they have their own problems, and internally, they're a bit of a mess as well. They're questioning the state of the franchise. So you got to look at the other side and go, all right, well, I am pumped and I'm stoked to come out and say, hey, this proves that they can hang with anyone. Well, they didn't do it against the Bruins. They did this against the Bruins, and I'm here for that combo.
Hey, Brodes, this is Steve, first time calling in. I have to say that was probably one of the most exciting games so far that I've watched this season. The way that we gave up those three goals the first 4 minutes, I was angry. I was yelling at the TV, and I just kind of had this feeling as the game picked up and the hitting picked up that we were going to bounce back. And wow, I don't know what it is with this team. I think if they play the way they did tonight and don't allow those early goals, I don't think there's a lot of teams that can hang with us here in the division.
I'm having a hard one with that just because this defense is so bad. It's so bad. Anyone can hang because they can score on us because your defense is going to get shredded. You got to make a move. And I fully expect Chuck Fletcher to make that move. And maybe I feel better if Ekholm is in play. If he's here and he's helping out this team, he brings the experience, older guy, can move the puck very well. Maybe that will make me feel significantly better if you were able to get a player who can step in to such a top-tier role on this D-corps and settle things down. Have a voice too. And someone who's been engaged in some late runs. Someone that can help. Hey, let's settle back. Let's get to our groove. Let's find out what our identity is going to be with me in it, and then let's start executing. Because I truly do feel that one person really messed this whole thing up. And I respect their decision on retiring in Matt Niskanen, but if Matt Niskanen is in play, this D-corps has a different vibe around them. They just do. Because it pushes everybody back into their more common roles. Shane Gostisbehere never gets an opportunity to play top 2 minutes if Matt Niskanen is in play. So if you do acquire a defenseman, that makes me feel more comfortable about things. All right, what is next?
Did they really just do that? Did they really just do that? Holy shit. Once again, where are the Claude Giroux haters at tonight? Where are they? Do you still want this team to be stripped? Got it. This comeback win is it's always great, but it's even better when it's against Pittsburgh.
It is. It definitely is. And I love Sidney Crosby, but I know where the state of the Pittsburgh Penguins are right now. And to see a Flyers team that seems to be trending in the right direction, although a step back from last year, but ultimately on the timeline, if you were to look at a timeline horizontally, you're still in a good area. It's nice to see the Flyers take care of business and snag it right from them. I had a buddy of mine who's a Penguins fan text me anytime, anywhere when it was 3-0. So I responded when the game was over, 4-3, anytime, anywhere. And I used that gif of cleaning the Stanley Cup. Of course, I don't think this team's going to win the Stanley Cup, but it feels so much more painful to Pittsburgh when you see that they had it and they thought, oh, this is easy. Flyers suck. Flyers didn't feel like playing today. Let's snag another 2 points and see if this team can make a serious run in this postseason. Let's see if this Penguins team can get a real hot stretch going, and we took it right back. It was unbelievable. What else is unbelievable, though, is DraftKings. And UFC 259 is this weekend and is sure to be action-packed with 3 title fights taking place in one night. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of UFC, is putting you in the center of this weekend's title fight with 100-1 odds on either fighter to land a punch during the title fight. Pick either main event fighter to land a punch during this weekend's UFC 259 bout, and DraftKings Sportsbook will give you 100-1 odds. Just bet $1 on either fighter to land a punch, and if that happens, you will cash $100. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code BRODES when you sign up to turn $1 into $100 if either main event fighter lands a punch on Saturday. Place your bet and watch the fist fly this weekend. That is code BRODES to turn $1 into $100 if either fighter lands a punch. For a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older. Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. In partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casino. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Now I can't wait for Saturday afternoon, and I'm a big afternoon hockey guy. I love weekend, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, feet up, hockey. Love afternoon hockey guy. I'm that guy, afternoon hockey guy. Give it to me. I'm here for it. I need it in my life. I demand it in my life. As long as they win. Because if they don't win, I will be upset. If I got to watch Nolan Patrick board people right after they allow 3 goals, I'm not going to be happy. And this whole Nolan Patrick experiment, I'm done. I'm pulling the trigger on it. I am all for players growing and players grooming, and I know his background, I know his storyline, but something's not clicking. Now, you see it in flashes. That's a reality. You see the skill set in flashes where, hold on a second, that was Nolan Patrick, or wow, great play by Nolan Patrick. But it's just not a reality. This kid doesn't have it. He's missing it. He's more just a guy. And look, I'm not knocking someone who's just a guy in the NHL, but I'm ready to move on, maybe get a piece for him. Maybe someone else thinks, hey, if I get my hands on Nolan Patrick, I can make him a player. There's a big difference when, and Kevin Durso of 97.3 ESPN, their Flyers insider, he brought this up on our NHL podcast that we do called Open Ice Hits, which is on my YouTube channel, and you can find it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all the other podcasting platforms. When you watched Jack Hughes in his rookie year, you knew that he wasn't ready and his body needed to mature and there were going to be a lot of mistakes that happened and it was going to be a journey for the kid, right? But now you're starting to see it. With Nolan Patrick, it doesn't have that vibe to it. All right, he's going to grow. He's going to take that step. He's going to do this. Now he's doing that. All right, hold on a second. Damn. You see it once in a blue moon, but not enough. Not enough to fully commit that, hey, there's development happening here. And don't hit me with, well, the migraine stopped his career and all that. I know that's a part of it. I'm not downplaying injuries, especially an injury that's upstairs in the head. That's not easy. It's not like, hey, your broken arm's going to be fixed in 6 weeks. It's not like, hey, that leg, it'll be done in 4 weeks. You'll be good to go. This is different. But both can be true. That could hurt you, and that could be something that doesn't help your career, and you could also not be as good as you thought you would be. Both can be true, and I think that's the case with Nolan Patrick. So I'm pretty disappointed in him. He had that penalty so early on. I mean, what are you doing? Do you want to go down 7-0? Is that what you were looking to do? It's a disgrace. All right, so with that being said, thank you guys so much for listening. I'll see you on Saturday. I'm pretty pumped up to see how this team continues to build off of this. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I will see you next time.